The French have a long and, dare we say, relationship with frogs. These amphibious creatures, often viewed with indifference or even disdain in other cultures, hold a place of peculiar esteem in the French culinary landscape. Indeed, to utter cuisine de grenouille in certain circles of France is to evoke a sense of gastronomic intrigue, a nod to a time-honored tradition that speaks of rustic charm and sophisticated palates. The historical roots of frog consumption in France are a tad murky, much like the ponds from which these green delicacies once sprung with abundance. Some food historians, those intrepid explorers of culinary lore, posit that frogs hopped onto the French menu sometime in the Middle Ages. Monks, those resourceful stewards of the land, are often credited with pioneering this culinary quirk, turning to frogs as a readily available source of protein during lean times. Fasting dictates, it seems, have a way of broadening culinary horizons. Whatever their origins, frog legs eventually hopped beyond the monastery walls and into the kitchens of the French peasantry. Over time, this humble peasant fare made its way up the social ladder, eventually landing on the tables of the aristocracy. By the 19th century, frog legs had cemented their place in the French culinary canon, celebrated in literature and immortalized in countless brasseries and bistros across the land. There is an art to preparing frog legs, a certain that elevates this seemingly simple ingredient to a culinary delicacy. The process begins, of course, with procuring the legs, typically from specially bred frogs rather than their wild counterparts. These legs, plump and pearly white, arrive at the kitchen prepped and ready for their transformation. The French, masters of culinary finesse, employ a variety of techniques to coax out the delicate flavor of frog legs. Sautéing, often in a buttery garlic sauce, remains a perennial favorite, a testament to the French penchant for simple yet elegant preparations. The result is a dish that is both visually appealing and delectably tender, the legs yielding to the slightest pressure of the fork, their subtle, almost sweet flavor enhanced by the richness of the sauce. For those seeking a more adventurous culinary experience, there are frog legs provençal, bathed in a vibrant tomato sauce and seasoned with herbes de Provence, a fragrant blend of rosemary, thyme, and oregano. This dish, bursting with Mediterranean sunshine, offers a delightful interplay of textures and flavors, the tender frog legs providing a counterpoint to the slight acidity of the tomato sauce. And who can resist the rustic charm of frog legs fried to a crispy golden brown, served with a side of aioli, that garlicky mayonnaise that is a staple of French cuisine? Whether sautéed, fried, or simmered in a fragrant sauce, frog legs are a testament to the French culinary spirit, a willingness to embrace the unusual, to transform the seemingly mundane into something extraordinary. It is this spirit, this commitment to culinary exploration that has made French cuisine the envy of the world, a constant source of inspiration and delight. The insatiable French appetite for frog legs, however, has not been without its consequences. Once teeming with frogs, French ponds and waterways have witnessed a decline in native populations, a testament to the pressures of overharvesting and habitat loss. To meet the demands of discerning palates, France has turned to a combination of frog farming and imports, a delicate balancing act between satisfying culinary traditions and ensuring ecological sustainability. Frog farming, a relatively new industry in France, aims to provide a more controlled and sustainable alternative to wild-caught frogs. These farms, often resembling giant rice paddies, provide a suitable habitat for frogs to thrive, albeit in a more confined environment than their wild counterparts. While frog farming addresses some of the concerns associated with wild harvesting, it is not without its own set of challenges. Maintaining water quality, preventing disease outbreaks, and ensuring the welfare of these captive amphibians require careful management and oversight. Despite the growth of frog farming, France still relies heavily on imports to satisfy its frog leg cravings. Indonesia, Vietnam, and Turkey have emerged as major suppliers, their frog farms satisfying the French demand for this culinary delicacy. The globalization of the frog leg trade, however, raises concerns about traceability and ethical sourcing. Ensuring that imported frog legs meet French standards of quality and sustainability remains an ongoing challenge. The journey of frog legs from pond to plate, while seemingly straightforward, is fraught with ecological implications. Frogs, those amphibious barometers of environmental health, are particularly sensitive to changes in their surroundings. The decline of frog populations, both in France and globally, serves as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of our food choices and the health of our planet. Habitat loss, driven by urbanization, agriculture, and pollution, poses a significant threat to frog populations worldwide. As wetlands are drained, forests cleared, and waterways contaminated, frogs lose their breeding grounds, their sources of food, and ultimately, their ability to survive. The decline of frogs reverberates throughout the ecosystem, disrupting the delicate balance of predator and prey relationships, impacting insect populations, and ultimately, diminishing biodiversity. Overharvesting, driven by the demand for frog legs, further exacerbates the plight of wild frog populations. While regulations are in place in many countries to manage frog harvests, enforcement remains a challenge, and illegal trade persists. The removal of large numbers of frogs from their natural environment can have cascading effects on local ecosystems, disrupting food webs and potentially leading to the decline of other species that rely on frogs for sustenance.